Soon enough, one of the oldest and most unique tribes in the entire world is going to be lost to time forever. And this won't be because of the harm they encounter every day while on their hunts. In fact, that number is virtually nothing compared to the looming threat that lays ahead of them. We are talking about a fate that is far worse than death itself. What do I mean? How? Allow me to explain. If you're watching this video, it's likely you are familiar with the Hadzabe tribe. You've probably watched a couple of videos about them on YouTube.
I went hunting with the Hadza tribe in Tanzania, and we were on the quest to get baboons. And these guys, they smoke newspaper joints. They have certain arrows, some poison, some are corn cobs to shoot different animals, and they like baboon meat because supposedly it's salty.
But if this is your first time hearing about them, don't worry, I'm going to fill you in shortly. On the other hand, if this is your first time seeing this face on your screen, what a shame. Introductions, my name is Francis and I like to think I make interesting videos on the internet, so please consider liking the video and subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Now, back to the video. So the Hadza people, or the Hadzabes, are an indigenous ethnic group living in north-central Tanzania. And as you can already tell, these are not your average Tanzanian people. These guys have no need for electricity, the internet, or the finest things in life. I don't even think they are aware of what any of that is. They just live in the wild, eat meat, eat honey, smoke some weed, and eat more meat. In fact, when a content creator asked one of their elders what the most important thing in life was, this is what he said.
What's the most important thing in life?
Manako.
Manako.
Manako. Manako bala.
Bala.
Manakita.
Manakita.
Ko haga kakachana ihane ngana.
Meat. But their wild obsession with meat is not the craziest thing about them. No, it's actually how they acquire the meat. As I said, these people live in the wild, so they do not have access to grocery shops or cold stores. So they use bows and poisoned arrows to hunt for their meals every day. Almost days. A lot of the days, these guys are in the wild hunting for baboons, antelopes, and even bats. And if this is your first time hearing about people like this, you're going to be quite shocked that in 2025 there are still groups of people going to hunt in the wild. As you may or may not know, a very long time ago, as humanity was finding its footsteps in this world, that was how we survived, by hunting. But eventually we started growing crops and rearing animals. So instead of going into the wild to fight animals and chase them down, we'll just domesticate the animals, have them multiply, and just take from that when we needed to. So why am I going with this? Well, the Hadzabes did not advance with the rest of the world. They instead stuck by their old ways of doing things and have been hunter-gatherers for all of their existence. So now that we are all caught up and know a little bit about the Hadzabes, let's get into the real problems that is going to wipe them all out of existence in a few years. The very first thing plaguing them, but many people consider as a minor issue and it's quite controversial, is content creators and tourists. And you might ask yourself, how is educating people and bringing awareness to a different group of people suddenly wrong? Objectively speaking, this is not wrong, but it is still a huge problem for the Hadzabe people. Because what happens is these content creators and tourists go into their community and use the Hadzabe's real life for content and entertainment. And it's not even as if they will give a fair share of the revenue generated to these people. No. Every single year, tens if not hundreds of content creators troop into that community to film whatever they can for our amusement. They choose to live with them and participate in their hunting activities. Obviously, this is not for free. They have to pay the tourism board or some other group to help make this happen. And how much of that revenue really goes to these people? I don't presume very much. Other tourists bring gifts like rice, water, and a whole lot. But the issue is the profit being generated by these creators is not proportional to what this group is getting back. So some may call this exploitation. Alright, on to the next point. Another huge problem that these content creators and tourists have brought to the community is alcoholism. It's been reported that some of the Hadza people have become full-blown alcoholics. So it seems their discovery and their popularity is the first thing threatening their existence. Now let's get into some of the more serious problems facing the Hadzabes aside tourists and content creators. You remember what these guys said when they were asked what the most important thing in life was? Meat. And where does meat come from? Animals. And where do animals come from? The wild. So the bigger the forest, the more animals are likely to be in it. But there's a slight problem. The world around them is changing very fast. Trees are needed to make tables and chairs. Farmers also need those lands for agricultural expansion. Government policies and land leases have also allowed for hunting tourism. The Hadzabe are fighting a losing battle, something that they can simply not win. They are competing with entire industries and governments. So as their lands get smaller, the animals are also going to get fewer, and this is going to increase the already existing problem of malnutrition in their community. These are all very grim stuff if you think about it. All they did was to exist at this exact point in time. So what is the solution to this problem? Well, there isn't any one solution that I can think of which will automatically reset things to the way they were before or keep the tribe alive for the next 100 years. One very common solution I see people suggesting is, why don't they just integrate with the rest of the world? If you can't beat them, just join them. And on the surface, this seems like a bright idea, but this is actually the biggest problem disguised as a solution. Let me explain. One thing I intentionally left out is there are about 1,200 or 1,300 of the Hadza people left, and of this number is only about 400 who are still going about life like their ancestors used to. So already a significant amount of the Hadza people have integrated with the rest of the world. They are marrying people from other tribes and trying to fit in with the rest of the world. But as you can probably guess, the transition hasn't been so smooth. There have been reports of discrimination, finding it extremely hard to adjust to the new lifestyle. And since they are now the minority, they are losing their language because nobody speaks this.
What's your name, man?
Ngon.
Ngon. What about you?
Pagit.
Ate?
Pagat.
What's your name, man? Kumbia. What about you? Kokunja. Ate? Iya. Patata?
This is one of the last surviving click languages in the entire world. And soon enough, as and when they all integrate into the world, this language may be gone forever. The other choice they have is to do nothing, sit and lose their lands, the animals, and watch their population fall to zero. Either way, the future doesn't seem very bright for the Hadza people, and if nothing serious is done about it, they will be lost to time forever. I'd really like to know your thoughts in the comments. Is there any way that this could be turned around? Let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to reply back and we can have a conversation down there. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Thank you, and I'll see you another time. Bye.